My name is Swalhi. My hobbies are paying taxes and watching beavers mate. Canada seems like the perfect place for me.
Would you like to try America? We have a valid green card for you.
No.
If you move to America, you will save $30,000 on a new car and pay half the price on everyday items.
No.
You will live with 300 million who call this land home. You will never be bored because the weather and landscape is the most varied in the world.
No. I like the Arctic.
You will have the largest market in the world at your disposal. You can pay tens of thousands or millions for a house. You will make a lot more money at a much more rewarding career and have a larger family and support groups.
No. I like colorful Monopoly money.
Are you a moron or a retard?
I will get shot in America.
You must possess suicidal tendencies to walk into a rival gang shootout.
Canada has the tallest freestanding structure in the world.
You must definitely be a self-hating, scurvy-afflicted 12th century peasant who collects her teeth in a jar after repeatedly shoving them up the ass every night.
Tim Horton is a great lumberjack who harnessed the power of the legs to bring out a marble rock from within the earth, which is Canada.
If you say another word, I will carve out your inner labia and force-feed it to you in your sleep.
But Canada gets free health care.
The government will take 25% of your paycheck for a health care that lags behind others. You will wait 2 hours to see a doctor in a clinic like cattle because of shortage of family doctors countrywide.
But Canada gets cheap education.
The education is heavily subsidized and liberalized, so like an obedient Canadian you can conform better to liberal mindset of Canada.
University of Toronto and University of Waterloo are world class.
Only University of Toronto is recognized in top 50 list of the world, while American universities hold the top 10 spots. University of Toronto has second highest percentage of Chinese internationals, meaning that the graduating students don't represent Canada's actual talent.
None of that matters. Canada's government is a lot more fair and unbiased than American.
Americans have equally weighted political spectrum, Democrats and Republicans. Democrats represent liberal views and Republicans interpret the American Constitution. How does the Conservative government of Canada interpret the Canadian motto? Peace, order and good government. If there was good government, it would be less intrusive in form of taxes. Order could mean many things, like amount of power given to police or corporations. This is never debated in Canada.
Still, I trust the Canadian government. They do a great job of protecting my rights.
The government can do whatever they want and they don't care about your rights, you dimwit. Paul Martin, the Prime Minister before Harper, had his family boat caught with a load of cocaine, but apparently they couldn't find enough evidence to arrest him. Anyone else would have been charged.
I trust the Canadian government still.
The charter is useless. There's a clause stating that new laws may override it, so we don't have rights. We have privileges. Canadians actually do have the right to keep and bear arms under common law, but the government does a good job of ignoring it. The gun registry alone violates about a dozen charter rights.
I trust the Canadian government still.
Did you know that earlier registries were only brought up by fascist/communist governments as a progress towards confiscation? This is what Nazis and Stalin did.
I trust the Canadian government still. Crime is low and laws are up to date to protect lawful Canadians.
Are you denser than a rock? Canadian maximum security prisons, such as Kingston or Kent Penitentiary, grant various rights to inmates because the charter applies to them. A guard may not carry a gun or a taser. Inmates may choose from meal plans, choose to work or sit in the cell all day. They even gave said Carla Homolka free to catch up on her tea and crumpets. Paul Bernardo is in his separate cell. The homeless could only dream of such luxuries.
Bernardo and Homolka are unique snowflakes. Child rapists should be given more children. We should legalize pedophile marriage.
Are you completely batshit fucking demented? Jeffrey Dahmer, who killed just as many, got his head beat to a pulp with a broomstick by an inmate. A year back, in America, a new prisoner was made to suck an important prisoner's dick, almost biting the balls. His buddies hid behind a post with a filed plastic toothbrush. The new guy walked by and was stabbed 20 times, Then all of his intestines were ripped out. This would never happen in Canada.
I'd rather it not happen. I want my tax dollars to keep all unique snowflakes alive.
Would you pay a unique snowflake to rip your family to shreds and burn down your house while your face melts off? You'll be battling depression in the Canadian health system to give you a spot in a long waiting list.
Yes, everyone is a unique snowflake.
I hope you get gangrene of the anal tissue. Do you understand that 1 in 6 Canadians is either a Chinaman or an Indian who has never heard of soap or mouthwash? Let alone any shred of common decency or idea of what it takes to be a Canadian.
That's called multiculturalism.
It's called lack of pride, unless it affects their kind. In 2008, the Tamil Tigers in Toronto took the city hostage and blocked off a major highway downtown. They marched against the riot police while using women and children as shields.
But it's multiculturalism. I saw it on CBC.
I hope that leaded paint is permanently blown into your nostrils using IV tubes. All of Canadian media outlets, especially CBC, follow a leftist agenda backed by the government. For example, in the U.S. media has extreme left, extreme right, conservative and the center. The media covers all three sides in U.S., so if you choose, you hear Christian conservative media outlets, not New York Times or LA Times.
CBC told me that the Arizona shooting was triggered by violent video games.
News of importance to Canadians never get covered. The harmonized sales tax passed in July 2009. I had a friend who went on the protest in Toronto on November 2009. Toronto police closed all traffic on Yonge from Queen to Bloor and then back to Bay. Dundas Square was disrupted for 30 minutes on a busy weekday. There were helicopters circling but not a single news van present. The information did not get out because it is harmful for Canadian socialist agenda.
I care about Arizona shootings more.
I met a young girl who worked for a federal government since age 14. She got a degree in communications, making $55,000 a year, promoting Canadian presence on the internet. This is a heavily guarded Canadian secret.
I care about Arizona shootings more.
Next year we have a chance of 300,000 Canadians dying, mostly from Toronto, because of antiquated healthcare facilities and stretched surgery wait lists. This is classified Canadian information.
I want to move to Toronto.
Bitch, you just went 180-degree full retard. In Toronto the police can get away with whatever they want. The police chiefs lie using news outlets. Look at Cam Woolley and Julian Fontino, high school dropouts endorsed by Canadian media.
We should entrust high school dropouts with our lives.
Toronto police force searched and beat people 5 kilometers around the G20 summit when they only passed the law the day before without any notice to the citizens. The police can search an entire community of houses out of suspicion for a crime without warrants.
Impressive. That is excellent dedication toward my safety. I wish something like this existed for alcohol.
Yes. Monopolistic practices of LCBO limit selection and forbid purchase of alcohol on Sunday after 5 because it is blasphemous.
I want to pay more taxes though.
Yes. Ontario government downloaded public services to the city in the 90s. City of Toronto expanded its borders for a larger tax base.
I want to pay more taxes though.
The harmonized sales tax passed increased the cost of everything that was previously exempt from taxation. The eco-fee must be paid for recycling charges. Land transfer tax must be paid for every home bought.
I want to pay more. This is not enough.
There are ongoing TTC fare hikes because of no regulation, which make the highest transit fares in North America. You also pay the highest car insurance in North America.
This is not enough. I want to pay $40 every time I take a highway.
Fear not. Ontario government illegally sold the Highway 407, paid by Ontario taxpayers, to a third-party Spanish company. These charges cannot be regulated or contested by anyone.
I want to pay more for internet.
There is a 25 gigabyte bandwidth cap which Rogers Bell are trying to establish as an icing on the cake.
Amazing. I want to pay more still. I want long 8-month winters and a lot more obstacles.
For grandiosely delusional schizophrenic tuberculosis-ridden HIV-carrying whore such as yourself, Montreal is the perfect place.
Really?
You can speak a made-up language that sounds like French. Among social rejects parading to be hipsters.
I want to spend lots and lots and lots in taxes.
Like in Toronto, you will spend a small country's GDP in taxes.
I have the best idea ever. I want to pay taxes and not receive the service I pay for.
The roads and condition of vehicles in Montreal is third world. Here, the government spends $500,000 to buy brand new police vehicles every 5 years due to road damage. The city spends $6 million a year filling potholes improperly according to engineers. They spend another $15 million on the most inefficient snow removal program in the world. The Turcotte is kept broken so that it can purposely collapse and annihilate at least 10,000. Only 1% of households have family doctors, even though everyone pays into the system. Bums live in the subway platforms and police don't touch them.
Wow, this is even better than Toronto. I will move to Montreal for sure. But I don't know French.
You will be forced the guilt of Anglophones, and be forever sucking on French penis.
I will get a French job.
As soon you walk into a job interview, the manager's face will rage and his fly will open, in unison. The penis will penetrate your shell in one motion and you will start crying large English whore tears. The tears will mix with the blood and sweat and cheat and drown you.
I will make lots of poutine who will help me learn French.
That is mathematically impossible. A Quebecer is an angry person. They walk with frowns on their faces, and never say hello to you. 95% of Quebecers smoke, and highest amount of suicides happen here. Everyone in Quebec hates themselves.
Yeah, but multiculturalism. Free healthcare.
If you don't slit your wrists due to clinical depression in the first 5 months you live here, you will start realizing that everyone around you a Habs-loving zombie. Everyone wears Canada Goose jackets in the winter and Roots hoodies in the summer.
Cheap education. Calgary. Moose. Beavers.
Calgary. What kind of sane, self-respecting individual wants to experience Arctic frostbite for 5 months of the year? The only reason Calgary exists is pipelines carry Canadian oil to America. Eastern Canada has to import their own oil.
I don't want that. There is money in oil. I want to spend my money on taxes.
You think Canada will let that slide? A person from Alberta knows the oil sands have a higher reserve than Saudi Arabia. Canadian government makes him pay $1 a liter, while a Saudi fills up at 16 cents a liter.
What about Vancouver? Beaver mushroom snake taxes.
Vancouver gets no sun for 10 months of the year. It gets no moon either. The whole population of Vancouver would be put on suicide watch due to depression spells if they lived somewhere else.
This does not answer my question about taxes. Beaver tails, pine needle in my hair.
In Vancouver you pay taxes for grass and marijuana-enhanced air. You will die owing money to the government even if you are a millionaire.
Thank you for explaining everything to me. From what I understand, Canada has free healthcare, cheap education and multiculturalism. The Canadian government will protect me from American crime. Beaver tails, CN Tower taxes and French poutine jobs. Am I missing anything?
Yes, you are missing one last thing. This filed toothbrush which will momentarily end up in your abdomen, because I have had enough of your shit. Goodbye.